Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. If you want it, come and get some. Because we love wisdom. Because we love wisdom.
People in every part of the globe are perishing because their judgment is low. From children to teens to elderly folks, this epidemic is incredibly bold. Wisdom is needed to see through the fog. Without it, we'll stumble and cease to the long. You're jumping without something to break it fall. If you choose to ignore it's a beckoning call. The only people who will lose the war are those who don't know who they're fighting for. You are the only one who can decide your fate. Don't waste your life when you can live inside of grace. If we turn to God and behold the shining face, we will gain traction to run in this human race.
Hey, what's going on? JC Johnson here for The Love of Wisdom, where philosophy meets the streets. And on today's episode, we're going to be discussing the wisdom of pragmatism. More on that after this.
Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. If you want it, come and get some. Because we love wisdom. Because we love wisdom. Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. If you want it, come and get some. Because we love wisdom. Because we love wisdom.
All right, what's going on? JC Johnson here, and we are back for The Love of Wisdom, where philosophy meets the streets. Thank you for tuning in today on this Thursday afternoon. So today we're discussing pragmatism, right? And I'm going to get into that in a little bit as far as what that means, what it doesn't mean, and everything. It's a little bit of a controversial topic depending on, what kind of worldview you have, what school of thought you would normally fall into, but I think we're going to have a good discussion today. It's something that needs to be discussed, and with a lot of things, and I think this is part of what pragmatism is all about, but with a lot of things, it's not always so black and white. We think we know the answer to things sometimes, but it's okay to be able to step back and say, what, when it comes to this, I'm not really sure about that. I don't really know. There's nothing wrong with just being honest, just being real with yourself. And just saying, all right, in this area, I don't have it all figured out. I don't have it all figured out in any area, really. Everything is, I would say this. We have objective truth in this world. There's a lot of things that are objective. However, some things are subjective, like what kind of ice cream you like, or what kind of car you drive, or, whether or not you decide to go to college. These kind of things are subjective, right? There's no law, moral law or governmental law that says whether or not you have to, choose those kind of paths, but when it comes to morality, though, that's a whole different topic. And pragmatism, I think, really gets into that. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but before we get there, though, I did want to just share a couple things with you, a couple of updates. And also, if you missed the show last week we discussed symbolism, and I thought that was a pretty good episode. If you missed that, you can always catch past episodes online. Check them out on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, any of the popular websites where you can download podcasts, and you'll be able to get that for free. So definitely don't miss that. Also, just this week, actually a couple of days ago, January 1st, I just released a book. It's called The 40-Day Fire, Burning Away All That Does Not Resemble Your Destiny. I'm excited about that. It's a book, basically it's a devotional. It's a 40-day devotional book that tackles 40 different topics, right? So there's something new for every day, something fresh, and basically it's all about how to, set yourself up for success, how to overcome things in your life that may be holding you back, and also how to avoid some future pitfalls so that you don't get, sidetracked when you are on that proper pathway to success. And it was a book that definitely came out of, real life experiences for me. It's something that I definitely can relate to. And I think that it's something that you'll also appreciate if you give it a shot. So just wanted to share with you just a little bit about it, just so that you have an understanding of it before we continue. And basically what it is, the 40-Day Fire, it's a 40-day journey. Again, like I said, it's stylized like a devotional. It's something that you can read You can read one chapter each day, or you can just read it straight through, just like a regular, novel or any kind of book like that. It's up to you. For me personally, stuff like that, I like to just kind of run through it. But you may be the type that likes to take the more traditional approach and take it one day at a time over the course of 40 days. So if that's you, I would definitely recommend doing that, because it is beneficial to take it a little bit at a time. But the 40-day fire, basically, it's intended to light a fire underneath you. So from time to time, everyone needs a push. And the book will sometimes cause you to laugh. Other times it's going to cause you to, basically it's going to give you a loving kick in the pants, basically saying, hey, you need to stay on course. What are you doing? Where are you going? Why are you saying that? Why are you doing that? Right? And we all need that sometimes. And pretty much what I hope to do with the book is just to help you to burn away anything in your life that's currently standing in between you and your destiny. And that's what it's all about. And, in life, no matter how long one has to live it, life is relatively short, and every human being has a purpose to fulfill in this life. But sometimes we have distractions, and distractions can come and they can try to stop us as we're gaining momentum, right? As we're going down the road. There's a chapter in the book that discusses being on the narrow road. And when we're on that narrow road, it's like we're traveling at high speed. And sometimes, if you drive in a car, that if you're on a windy road or a narrow road, and it's kind of hard to stay on that road and have a good amount of speed at the same time, right? Like, I don't know how race car drivers do that consistently, be able to go around that track over and over again at such high speeds, but that's the reason why even professional race car drivers, sometimes they crash, because it's just very difficult to be able to do that. And especially if you're not on that course by yourself, but you have competitors, you have people who are trying to actually knock you off course. And that's something that we discuss in the book as well, because, we have people in our lives. Sometimes people, they mean well, they have good intentions, but they may actually be pushing us away from our destinies. And then we also have those people who don't mean well. We have those kind of people who actually mean harm, people that want to hurt us. And they say, you know what? I don't care what you have going on. I don't care what you're going through or what your dreams are. I'm trying to take you out. I'm trying to knock you out because you're standing in my way. You're standing in the way of me accomplishing my dreams. So when we have situations like that, we definitely or sometimes we're caught off guard. We're not prepared for it. But the main thing is not to be discouraged by that, because everyone who has accomplished anything great has endured some form of opposition. And when we come against opposition, instead of giving up, we actually have to push harder. And we're always going to have haters. So no matter what you do, no matter how much you smile, no matter how nice you are to people, no matter how much money you give away, whatever you could possibly think of, right? You're always going to have haters, and that's just the way that life is. But you don't have to let them defeat you. And you don't have to retaliate against them either, or feel like you need to get even, because that's not good. That's not necessary. What's the point of that? It's better to just say, hey, you know what? I understand that, we don't see eye to eye on everything, and maybe you just don't like me for whatever reason, but I'm still going to move forward, and I'm still going to, walk in integrity, because whatever you have going on that is destructive, that's going to catch up with you one day. And you might think that you're destroying me, but you're actually just destroying yourself by doing that. There's nothing cool about that, right? So, and we don't want to be those people either, right? When we see other people around us, maybe it's our friends, maybe it's our family, maybe it's like somebody you went to high school with, there's times where you might see somebody you went to school with and they're on TV and you're like, man, I remember that person, that person used to, just skip class and do whatever. And now they're on TV. Like, you could say, man, I want to be like that. Why is it them and not me? Right? If you let yourself go there, if you let your mind dwell in that negative place, you're going to have thoughts of hatred that start to build up, and that's not good. That's not good, and it's not necessary, because anything that anyone else can do, you can also do if you put your mind to it. Not that you should want to do what someone else is doing, but basically there's plenty of success to go around, right? Nobody has a monopoly on success. Back in the 90s, I remember it was a big deal because they were afraid that Bill Gates had a monopoly on with his operating system, and that everyone was using it, and that you couldn't use anything but that. So he had to go through several lawsuits and a bunch of stuff. But basically in life, success is not like that. There's not one person who has a monopoly over all opportunities, over all strategies for success. No, there's plenty to go around for everyone. So no need to hate on other people, because anything that they can get, you can equally get. You know why? Because we're all under the subjection of the same God, and he's ultimately in control of that. More on that after this, though.
Turn the lights down.
You're listening to North Coast Underground, where the underground starts with you.
Let me talk to him.
Hey, what's going on? JC Johnson here for The Love of Wisdom, where philosophy meets the streets, and we are back. So today we're discussing pragmatism, and before the break, I was just letting you know about my new book. It's called The 40-Day Fire, Burning Away All That Does Not Resemble Your Destiny. And if you want to download that, you can actually get it for a special price right now. If you get the ebook version, you can get that for only 99 cents. So that's an incredible deal. It's only going to be going on for this week and next week, so you definitely want to jump on that if you can. And if you're interested in other versions as well, there's a paperback and a hardback version of the book. But if you want that incredible deal, only 99 cents, definitely get that on Amazon.com. So one thing that we're going to be discussing today is what pragmatism is and what it's not, because there is some misunderstanding when it comes to that, and I want to clarify any misunderstandings that there might be, because there are differences of opinion when it comes to this particular word. And for me, I'll just say off the top that I am I'm coming predominantly from a Christian worldview, right? And there are a lot of people who are Christians who would say that pragmatism isn't good, and there's several different reasons why people think that. Now, I would say that I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to a lot of things, and I like to be able to just not just make assumptions or make prejudgments, right? which would be being prejudiced, right? Making a prejudgment. I try not to do that. I try to be as open-minded as possible, because I think that in life, certain things are not so cut and dry. They're not so black and white. Sometimes things are situational. And so we're going to get into that as far as what situational ethics is. That's something that's always been really interesting to me. That was definitely one thing that stood out to me, like in my philosophy classes in college, was just really taking a look at, how do you know that something is right or wrong? Like in certain circumstances, it may not seem all that clear, right? You might feel like, okay, well, in most circumstances, this is right, but right now it looks like it may not be for whatever reason, right? And I think that part of being a honest person and just being a smart person in general is knowing when to say, all right, in this area, I don't have it all together. I really don't know what the right answer is. You got to be honest. Got to be honest with yourself. That's the only way to grow. That's the only way to really make good decisions, and not stay in the same place your whole life, basically. Because if you don't ever challenge yourself, if you don't even have conversations with people that have a difference of opinion than you, then you're never gonna grow. That's really important. because there's always going to be somebody who sees things in a way that you don't see it, and you shouldn't be afraid of that. There are people who will shy away from that and say, no, I don't even want to have a conversation with you because I know that we don't have the same belief or worldview when it comes to a particular topic. But when you do that, not only do you block yourself from being able to learn something new and something that may actually be helpful to you, but you also block other people from being able to learn from you, because maybe you have something to share with them that they haven't really thought of before, right? So don't be so afraid of being challenged. It's good to be challenged. It's good to have your belief system and things shaken up from time to time, because you know what, that's what keeps us alive. That's what keeps your mind sharp. That's what keeps your heart actually in good working condition, so that you're not just blindly following things. You're not just doing something because you say, oh, well, this is what my parents taught me when I was 5 years old, and I'm gonna always believe that. You got to challenge everything that you've ever learned. You got to challenge things that people tell you, whether it's in your school, in your church, just anything, because as well-intentioned as people might be, people will give you a lot of advice. Sometimes they think that it's good advice, but not everybody is perfect. Human beings are imperfect and people make mistakes, and sometimes people may tell you something that's not true. So always look into things for yourself. Never just take something at face value. Even as something as simple as it's going to rain tomorrow. If somebody says it's going to rain tomorrow, it's very likely that it is going to rain tomorrow. That's not far-fetched. It rains all the time, right? But just because somebody says it doesn't mean that it's true. And I remember one time at a church that I used to go to, one thing that stuck out to me, the pastor there used to always say, just because somebody put something in a book doesn't mean that it's true. And that's really true when you think about it, because authors, me even as an author, authors are supposed to be considered experts or an authority in a particular subject, right? And that doesn't matter if you have a PhD or if you're just just somebody off the street that just decided to publish something. It really doesn't matter. In the minds of most people, whenever you publish a book, you're supposed to be an authority on something, and people think that, okay, because I see this thing in a hardback book and it's put out by a reputable publisher, then that means that this person knows what they're talking about, or everything that they're saying is true. But you got to remember, sometimes people have agendas, and sometimes people have evil agendas, and sometimes people have good agendas. But at the end of the day, people aren't perfect. So you can't you can't just bank off of everything that somebody says. Do your own research. We live in the technological age right now where you can research literally anything. Back in the day when the internet first came out, it was so slow. You remember dial-up? Anyone that remembers dial-up, it was super slow. It took a long time to load up anything. And by the time you actually loaded up something, you were just happy to see some words. You were happy to see some text, right? But now, just in a matter of seconds, you can download videos. You can chat with people. You can read books. You can listen to audiobooks. You can read ebooks, and you can read encyclopedias on the internet, thesauruses, everything is at your disposal. So always do your research, and if it's somebody that you trust that's telling you something, maybe your parents or a close friend, a spouse, anyone like that, then more than likely what they're saying is going to be good, because they have your best interest in mind. But just remember, even if they're well-intentioned, they may be mistaken, or you may misunderstand what they're saying. Maybe they're saying something that is 100% true, but because you're not interpreting it properly, you might still walk away from it believing something false. So always do your research, always double check, clarify, so that you can make sure that you're on the right path. And, just had to get that out there before we go forward, just to make sure that that's clear. But when we come back, we're going to discuss more on pragmatism. And pragmatism, basically, it's just all about being practical, right? It's about being practical with what we believe, what we say, what we do. Goes into some situation ethics. We're gonna take a look at that in a little bit. This is a good topic. We're probably gonna revisit it next week, but for now, at least, we'll just scratch the surface, make sure that we have a general understanding of the topic. But more on that after this. You're listening to For the Love of Wisdom, where philosophy meets the streets, on North Coast Underground, where the underground starts with you.
Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. If you want it, come and get some. Because we love wisdom. Because we love wisdom. Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.